So, how did this journey start? Um, well, it started 1 month. I think it was sometime last year. It was in February or March, and I was having this burning desire to go to the bathroom, and I would go, and shortly after, I'd want to go again, almost like my bladder wasn't emptying, and if I didn't go immediately to the bathroom, I felt like I was going to pee on myself. So it happened for a day. I felt drained, dehydrated, and I'd have to drink water, obviously. And then it kept happening. I said, "Look, this wasn't normal." So I went to a clinic that has been advertising on the radio, talking about men's health and all that. So I went there for a test, and sadly, I think the focus of that clinic was on reproductive health. And yes, there was a bit of talk about my PSA being high, but I just wasn't satisfied. My reproductive health was very okay. And so I just knew that wasn't the thing. So I left there and then went on to my hospital, and I consulted with a urologist. Now, the first thing he asked was, when last did I have a PSA test done? And I told him. And so he asked for the result, and I couldn't get the result from the first place I went to. So he asked that I go do another one, which I did. And my result was about 7.0. Now, the normal range for a PSA result is 0 to 3.0 NGML. Mine was 7.0. So they said it was high, but they weren't panicked. And so they said I should. Obviously, I had a physical examination of my PSA, of my prostate, sorry, not my PSA, of my prostate. And it's quite embarrassing. They have to feel through your butthole to feel the prostate. And mine wasn't enlarged, which was strange because usually when you begin to have issues with your prostate, that if it's an early onset, maybe it's an inflammation or some form of infection. I did the test, I didn't have any infection. So they said, okay, they placed me on some tablets for a month and said I should come back and repeat the PSA test. But something happened, time went by, I couldn't have that PSA test the month within the window that they asked me to come back. So when I came back, I think it was 2 months after, I had done a full health test. And my PSA at that point was about 7 point, it had gone up a bit, 7.9 or so, thereabout. So I went, I'm trying to get the timelines right now. Okay, sorry. Now this full test I did was before the final PSA test that I'd done. So I'd done this test, presented it to the urologist, and he said I should do another PSA test, which I did, and that value came out to be 10.0. Yes. So at that point, it was the sirens were out. Obviously, the value was high, and usually when you see that value, it's synonymous with one thing. So they asked me to go do an MRI, which I did, and it showed something, but they were not sure, and I was asked to go do a biopsy or histology. And when I did the histology, the result came out in November. It was positive for cancer of the prostate. Now, the key thing was, what stage was it at? Was it early? Was it advanced? And if it was early, what do I need to do? How do I need to respond? If it was advanced, what do I need to do? How do I need to respond? And then what are the remedies or the treatments that I need to embark on to resolve this? So At this point, I was consulting not just the urologist at that hospital, but I needed to get several opinions to make an informed decision about what path it is that we were to go. So I was open to anything. I just wanted this thing done. And then I finally caught up with a urologist who's quite good. He had Harvard credentials on his wall, and he told me, look, I need to get this done as soon as possible, and I need to remove the whole prostate. Now, I didn't know in totality, what I was going to walk into, but I knew I had to do it. I had to source for the money, and I had to have the surgery.